Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me today. Today I am uh, creating a alcohol ink card, and I'm going to be using this stamp set from the Stamps of Life. This is called Fireworks. This stamp set is currently in my shop. I have a lot of the Stamps of Life stamps that I will be putting into the shop. A lot of them are gently used like this one. There are also some new sets as well though. So I thought I'd go ahead and use this one just to see if I wanted to keep it or not. But I'm going to go ahead and post this in the shop and you can find it linked below. But I wanted to make a alcohol ink background. My paper of choice for alcohol inks is a Graphics Craft Plastic. There are also some other ones. Duralar is another one. I really like using them because they are a lot more cost effective than the Yupo is. But I'm going to take some watermelon and red pepper Ranger alcohol inks. I haven't used alcohol inks in quite a while, so one of them was a little bit dried at the top of the lid, but I just went ahead and added some inks and then a little bit of the blending solution, and then I used my handy dandy baby aspirator. I think that's what that's called, nasal aspirator. And I've used that for years and it works just fine to kind of move that ink around on the plastic. And then I wanted to use this flag stencil since this is a more of a kind of 4th of July themed card. And so I am trying out with the stencils a little bit to see if I can get the lines of that flag in the ink, and I ended up kind of blending it all back together with the blending solution. And so I'm just adding a little bit of the blending solution and making some drags with just a piece of scrap cardstock that I had laying there, and then I'll go ahead and add a little bit of the solution to my work surface and add that to the cardstock, see if I can push a little bit of that ink out. And I love experimenting with different items to see what kind of impressions it will make in the ink. Forks or potato smashers or bubble wrap, really just about anything I will try and use with alcohol ink. So I'm going to go ahead and take the other portion of the stencil, and that portion has the stars on it, and I am using a little bit of the white snow cap, and I probably used a little bit too much of it because the impression of the stars doesn't come out that great. But I'll go ahead and try and blot that up a little bit, and then I'm taking my heat tool, and when you use your heat tool on a stencil or any type of plastic, it's best to do it in short spurts. This craft plastic actually takes heat really well, a little bit better than Yupo, but if you're using Yupo, that will work as well. You just have to do the heat in short bursts and don't hold it steady on there or it will definitely melt. So you can kind of see, you have a faint impression of some of the stars. And so what I'm doing now is I'm taking that block, and it has that piece of cotton on it, and the cotton itself has a pattern, and so I'm just putting some of the blending solution onto that, not foam, but I think it's like a cotton pad, and pushing it into the alcohol ink, and it's making these really pretty impressions. And so I'm going to keep doing that until I have it how I like it, and then I'll go ahead, and I love doing splatter on alcohol ink backgrounds because it just looks so pretty. And I'm just using a stiff stencil brush, and I've dipped that into some of the blending solution on my work surface, and I'm just taking that and splattering that across my background, and it just leaves these pretty little splatter marks everywhere that touches. It's going to remove the alcohol ink, and I just think it's a really beautiful effect. And then I'm going to take a little bit of silver foil, and I'm putting this mainly on kind of I guess the fractures of the design, you could say, kind of where you can see like the bubbles or the lines. That is where the alcohol ink is the thickest, and it's still slightly tacky, and so you don't want it completely wet when you put the foil down. You just want it where it's almost dry but not quite. And so I've done that in several places across the background, and I just really love that effect. So once I've got my panel dried, I'm ready to put it all together. And this piece, I had cut it a little larger than a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that down to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and figure out my layout. And so I've already got my image colored and everything stamped up and ready to go. So I add a little bit of glue to the back of this cute little squirrel and add that to the Let's Celebrate sentiment, and then I will add some foam to the back. And I got these foam circles from Hobby Lobby. There are a couple hundred in this pack of different sizes, and I hadn't been to Hobby Lobby in quite a while, and so I didn't realize that they have kind of redone their paper crafting area. So it's more kind of like Michael's is just doing now with having more their own brand of products is kind of, I guess, what Hobby Lobby has done as well. But this pack was $4 something, I think, so it was a really good deal. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and finish off the card, adding some of these foil stars that I used with the die. That's going to be my card for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did like this video or find it informative, I would love a thumbs up. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today, and I hope to see